Hey guys, Liko here. Here is a Templar PVE rotation and build for the Harrowstorm DLC. This is primarily geared towards 12-man trials, but can be adapted to suit all PVE content. To be honest, not a lot has changed for the Templar since Dragonhold, but there is one major thing that has helped the Templar out, making the DPS VAT a little bit higher. Let me just summarise why. The Twin Blade and Blunt passive for axes now proc from jabs, which means you get a much higher uptime with the axe bleed. One axe, one dagger is definitely the best option now for dual wield. This is a good chance for me to introduce Pyro from the Unchained Animals on PCEU, who's kindly doing the jabbing for us today. Do check out his channel, which I've put in the description below, where you'll find other trials related content on all stamina classes. The best race to use is the Orc. The best Mundus to use is generally the Shadow. The gear used here in the raid dummy pass is with Reliquin and Lucastes, which is arguably the best setup to use in raids where there is a particular focus on single target DPS. This is generally the same for all classes, and I'll show you the pass at the end. The main alternative to either of these is the Deadly Strike set, of which the 5-piece bonus applies to most of the skills on the Templar. Lucastes surpasses Deadly Strike when either is paired with Reliquin, usually when Major Slate uptimes are above 80% or so, but it can vary depending on outside circumstances. Deadly Strikes can be a great alternative to Reliquin itself in fights where keeping up those stacks aren't effective. Master Lock is the monster set used in this footage here, and should do really well in a raid. Just don't try bashing after jabs. Celine's is a good alternative, and you'll actually see the set being used in the past later. Use a VMA bow. Master's bow isn't really an option because poison injection often isn't really worth using. Let's talk about the skills. On the front bar, in order, as you see on screen, we have Biting Jabs, which is our spammable. Super strong, but do beware that this is a channeled ability and the animation is really long, and you can animation cancel this skill much sooner than you might expect. Using this skill has a chance to proc the Burning Light passive, which are small bursts of bonus damage. This means the rotation doesn't really change in execute, since you'd lose it if you were to use a true execute like Whirling Blades. The rotation, which I'll explain a little later, basically comes down to how many other skills can you drop in order to make jabs and Burning Light still worth it. And well, the answer is you can drop quite a lot, as you'll soon see. Power of the Light is a great skill which provides a lot of burst damage, Minor Fracture, Minor Breach, as well as Minor Sorcery. The next 4 skills on this bar are all fighter skilled skills, and each of these therefore offer passive weapon damage. Barb Trap is a dot which provides minor force. Ring of Preservation is here for the passives, but can act as a nice utility skill if required. Again, the same for Camo Hunter. Flawless Dawnbreaker is an ultimate which also boosts weapon damage by 300 plus multipliers for 20 seconds when activated. On the back bar, we have Endless Hail, which procs our back bar enchant, and Ritual of Retribution, which are the only 2 abilities that are actively used. Ritual is an amazing skill since it's a massive AoE, it heals, it provides a synergy, and costs magicka, so great for stamina sustain. Blazing Spear is there for the crit damage bonus, although it barely really does anything since you're on the bar for 10% of the time. This skill, as well as the next 2, are basically flex spots, which can be handy if you need to slot Vigor or any other alternative skills, which I'll mention soon. Ballista is the ultimate, which is worth using over Flawless Dawnbreaker if you happen to have enough ultimate for it, usually at the beginning of a fight, and when combined with Major Force and Major Vulnerability. Alternative skills. These can include Restoring Focus, which gives a huge resistance and sustain bonuses, Poison Injection, which is a single target dot with built-in execute, but honestly not really worth using over Ritual. Rending Slashes is another single target dot, again not necessarily a DPS gain, but these 2 skills might be useful to slot where channeled abilities don't do too well, for example where there's a lot of blocking involved. Whirling Blades is a spammable /execute that might be worth using when there are multiple targets in a wider radius, but in most cases jabs will be fine. Vigor is nice for extra heals if needed. Both moves are pretty good for different situations. This list isn't exhaustive though, so there might be other useful skills out there that I haven't mentioned. Now here's a little bit about the rotation. Honestly, this is the easiest rotation of endgame standard in the entire game, and is off the scale when you consider how much damage it does relative to the complexity. It's a 14-second rotation, and this is how it goes. Start the fight with Barb Trap. Cast Hail and Ritual once each on the back bar. Then go to your front bar and do the following twice to complete a whole rotation. Cast Power of the Light, followed by 5 jab casts. Replace one of the jab casts with Barb Trap or Flawless Stormbreaker whenever they are ready to be used. Then rinse and repeat. That's literally it. If you're playing without add-ons, then you might have to play Barb Trap by ear a little bit. My tip would be to remember when you last cast it, but then squeeze it in the next rotation 4 skills later. If you want to make it even easier, then you can cast it in the same spot once per rotation. So yeah, sit back and enjoy this pass from Pyro. At the end I'll discuss the pass and show the gear and CPs. Cool, so as you can see, biting jabs with Burning Light combined for nearly 40% of the total damage. You can see that the bleed damage is also pretty high, it's roughly double versus last patch. Harmful Winds is relevant, I'm not sure why it's being renamed. The Celine's damage is pretty good, but you can expect Master Level to contribute to maybe 6% or more of your damage during a raid. We didn't scroll down the Parse here, but you'd expect Ballista and the damage from the poison status effects and the poisons and the initial hit of Trap at the bottom of the Parse. And here we have the CP and gear that was used here. You can find a copy in the description below for your convenience. This was the Stamina Templar for Harrowstorm from Liko and Pyro. Have a good day.